I'm Avery. Welcome to Kidpower Shorts. Today, we're talking about triggers. Triggers are thoughts, words, gestures, actions, smells, or ideas that cause someone to explode with feelings. Learning how to manage our triggers is relevant to all sorts of different safety situations in our relationships, in the world, and online. Today, we're going to be highlighting a variety of different skills you can use to help manage your response to triggers. Remember, everyone manages their feelings in a different way. Some of these skills may work well for you, and some may not. At Kidpower, we want to give you options, so you can choose whichever skills work best for you and your situation. If you think for a minute, you can probably recognize some of your own triggers. A negative trigger for me is when people make assumptions about what I am thinking or feeling instead of just asking me. Some common negative triggers include attacks on identities, such as race or gender, assumptions about abilities, or stressful situations. Triggers can even be small things that are fine in and of themselves, but which remind you of something else. Although we most often think of triggers as negative, there can be positive triggers as well, causing someone to explode with happy or caring feelings. Have you ever wanted to please a person or a group so much that you ignored their harmful behavior or did something against your values? Have you ever gotten so excited about something that you ended up in a destructive situation? Everyone gets triggered sometimes, even people who are generally relaxed and easygoing. Triggers can be problematic for our safety because when our minds and bodies are exploding with feelings, it can be hard to think clearly and make wise choices. Recognizing that flood of feelings, whether positive or negative, can help us to calm down, pause, and clear our minds before we say or do anything. Instead of reacting, we can take charge of our feelings. This can be easy to say and hard to do. Some common responses to negative triggers include feeling hurt, angry, frantic, disconnected, or frozen. Or a trigger may even bring up a mix of several of these feelings all at once. Sometimes negative triggers can make us very angry, and it can be easy to lash out to try and hurt the other person's feelings, either in person or online. If you are triggered in this way, you can use hands down power and mouth closed power to help stop yourself from hitting someone or saying something hurtful that you will regret. To practice mouth closed power, squeeze your lips together like this. Using hang on power by holding on to your body or your clothes can also help you control your actions. These skills can also apply online. You can use hands down power to stop yourself from writing unkind messages when you are triggered, and you can use move away power to leave an unsafe situation. Triggering behavior can often be the result of carelessness or offhand remarks that didn't come across right. If this happens, you can use calm down power to help yourself feel better. Most of the time, problems will not get much worse in the time it will take you to calm down. Once you are feeling calmer, you might choose to talk to the other person who upset you, and if you need to, you may have the option of setting a boundary for their future behavior. You can watch the Kidpower Shorts videos about boundaries for more guidance. Another form of negative triggers are emotional attacks. People may use emotional attacks unknowingly or because they don't know a better way to communicate. And sometimes people also use emotional attacks in an attempt to hurt your feelings or get you to lower your boundaries. No matter what the reason, emotional attacks can be upsetting and can cause people to behave in ways that are less safe. The first category of emotional attack communicates you are worthless. This category includes rude words or behaviors that ridicule you, your values, or people important to you. This category includes attacks on identity such as race, gender, or religion, and attacks based on life circumstances such as income or marital status. Suppose someone says or does something that communicates you are worthless. You can imagine using your trash can to catch those words, throw them away, and say, I am valuable. The second category includes words that imply you are helpless. These attacks threaten to hurt you or someone you care about, emotionally or physically, or take away something that is important to you, such as a friendship or professional opportunity. Suppose someone says or does something that communicates you are helpless. You can imagine making a fence with your hands and saying, that's not true. The third class of emotional attacks is sometimes harder to identify, and it includes words and behaviors that say, "Take care of me." These attacks often come from deliberate emotional coercion to pressure you to feel sorry or responsible for someone and take care of their needs at the expense of your own. This kind of emotional attack can bring up lots of feelings because the other person might legitimately be in need of help and care. However, being aware of these sorts of attacks can help you make clearer choices about how to be kind to the other person and still keep yourself safe. Different kinds of emotional safety techniques can help us to manage our emotional triggers so that we are in charge of our feelings instead of having them be in charge of us. For example, the screen technique helps us to separate insulting or emotionally coercive words or behavior from useful information so that we can assess the situation accurately instead of just reacting. To use the screen technique, put your hands in front of you with your fingers crisscrossing, like the screen on a window or door, and imagine letting in useful information and keeping out upsetting messages. If you live somewhere that does not use screens, you could also think of a beekeeping suit, which keeps people protected from bee stings and still lets in light and fresh air. Suppose someone is upset and expressing their feelings in a way that is not emotionally safe, and leaving is not a good option at that moment. The emotional raincoat might help you. Imagine that the unkind words the other person is saying are heavy rain, and that you are wearing a warm, waterproof raincoat so that the storm cannot reach you. Another useful technique is taking the power out of upsetting words. This might work well if your triggers are specific words or phrases. This practice involves saying the triggering words out loud and alternating with something positive, such as your favorite food or activity. Taking the power out of triggering words can help you stay calmer, even if they do not make the words okay. If someone you care about is great a lot of the time, but sometimes behaves in a way that you find hurtful, you may choose to adjust your emotional distance so that you can enjoy the good things about this person while still supporting your emotional safety. Practice increasing your emotional distance by first doing it physically. Practice moving away from someone as their behavior becomes hurtful and leaving entirely if it becomes unacceptable. Then, after you feel comfortable practicing physically, imagine how it felt to move away even when you might choose to stay close physically while moving further away emotionally. If someone is upset and might become physically or emotionally abusive, you can use leaving with love. Leaving with love means disengaging from the conflict in a caring way and going to a safe place, such as a friend's house. To leave with love, say something kind and de-escalating like, "I love you and I care about our relationship. Let's talk later after we've both had a chance to calm down." You can also leave with love in a professional setting, for example, by changing jobs to a different department to get space and go to a place where you are more valued. Remember, you always deserve to get help if you are having a safety problem. There are lots of different skills you can choose from to help manage your triggers. Here we have presented a few of them, and you can even make your own. Whatever your triggers are, it can be helpful just to be aware of them and aware of the strategies that help you manage them so that you can take care of your emotional and physical safety. If you're having a hard time managing your triggers or someone is consistently being hurtful, more options include setting clear boundaries and getting help from someone that you trust. Thank you for watching Kidpower Shorts. There's more information online at kidpower.org/relationships.